People, this is Gabe at Security.org, and today I want to talk to you about FastestVPN. Now, can a VPN so bold really back it up? And is it actually that fast? Well, we're going to answer those questions for you today. Now, if you have questions generally about VPNs in terms of what they can do and cannot do, please check out some of our VPN explainer videos. But without further ado, let's go ahead and dive into FastestVPN review. Now, in terms of a roadmap for what we're going to talk about today with FastestVPN, I first just want to go out and throw out some quick pros and cons so you get an idea of what we're working with. Then I'm going to talk to you about some of those pieces that make up what a VPN does, the infrastructure of a VPN. We're talking encryptions, where it's headquartered, protocols, logging policies. Those are all mighty important. Then we're going to dive into some of the core features, or the things that us here at Security.org expect to see in a VPN. And we're going to follow that up with some tests, WebRTC, DNS, and of course, the most important for something called FastestVPN, the speed test. Then we're going to jump into a mobile application walkthrough before recapping what our experience was like using FastestVPN on various devices. Now, to begin with those pros and cons, one of the first pros is the fact that you get 10 simultaneous connections with FastestVPN. That's 10. Now, when you're talking about simultaneous connections, you still want to be able to do stuff. And fortunately, it is pretty quick, and there's a built-in ad blocker and anti-malware software. So that's useful to see when just out there on the road with FastestVPN. And where does that road begin? Well, that is the Cayman Islands. It is not based within any of the typical alliance surveillances or surveillance alliances that we're familiar with, like Five Eyes and Nine Eyes. So that's always good to see as well. Now, when it comes to cons for FastestVPN, I have to state that you are a little bit limited when it comes to split tunneling with this particular VPN. Now I want to dive a little bit deeper into what makes up the infrastructure of FastestVPN. Well, the fact that they are based in the Cayman Islands, always good, as we said, not a part of any of those surveillance alliances. Additionally, they have a no logs policy that really checked out for us. And when it comes to encryption with this VPN, you're looking at standard 256-bit encryption. So that's always good to see. Now, as for protocols with Fastest, we're talking OpenVPN, LT2P, and IPv2. You would expect for something called FastestVPN, we would also have access to WireGuard, which is one of the faster protocols for VPNs, but that is not the case for FastestVPN. All right, so now we have to dive into some of those core features that we expect from the top VPNs out in the market, or really just any VPN out in the market at this point. And those are the 4 related to kill switch, streaming services, split tunneling, and torrenting. So let's go ahead and start with kill switch. FastestVPN has kill switches for everything. So you don't have to worry about your data being exposed. The kill switch is going to engage and you're going to be ready to go, safe from prying eyes and ears, potentially. And then when it comes to torrenting, you're going to be able to torrent with FastestVPN. One would expect from something called FastestVPN that it would make it pretty easy for you to go ahead and stay on that torrent train and get things popping. Unfortunately, that is what FastestVPN does. When it comes to the core feature of split tunneling, I do want to point out that it is limited. You're not going to be able to do so on a Mac or Windows computer, which is pretty much 99% of most people's computers. So that's something to keep in mind. Finally, when it comes to streaming services, I'm going to give it a sometimes, because sometimes some streaming services will work. So maybe you'll be able to watch, Breaking Bad. Maybe you'll be able to watch, all those past seasons of The Walking Dead, but also maybe not. So that's something to take into consideration if you're really thinking about using your VPN in that way. You may not be able to, depending on the streaming service. Now, when it comes to leaks, DNS, WebRTC, anything of that nature, we had no leaks when we did our test of FastestVPN. Now, those are the more boring tests. Let's dive into the fun tests, those speed tests, and see how well something called FastestVPN actually performs. So with FastestVPN, I had to start, of course, by just testing what it was like without FastestVPN connected, like how fast was my no VPN, if you will. That night I was getting 229 megabits per second. That's pretty quick. Now let's see what happens if I jump into the New York City server on FastestVPN, and then I was able to get 215 megabits per second download. It's only a 14 point drop, or 14 megabit per second drop. And then for upload, I was able to get 149 megabits per second. So pretty good, you know, fastest is basically doing what it says. It was very quick. But I will say that that was really one of the last places where FastestVPN really performed considerably better than any of the other VPNs I've seen. Because frankly, when I was able to go to other spots, as you'll see, I was not having that same experience. So I'm anxious to see if anyone else has had those types of issues with a VPN called FastestVPN. For example, when I went to Brazil, I was getting 7 megabits per second download, 6 megabits per second upload. Now I was able to get a much better speed from Hong Kong. Was really impressed with that. I got 157 megabits per second. That's more like it. That's more FastestVPN, you know, what one would expect. And then I was able to get 73 megabits per second upload. Again, pretty solid, what I'd expect from somewhere like Hong Kong. But when I went over to France, I was getting 41 megabits per second download and 11 megabits per second upload. And I know I was getting better speeds from France with other VPNs around that time. So I don't know if this was just a momentary lapse in what was going on, but I was definitely not seeing fastest times across the board with FastestVPN. And you know, that was the case even with some place like Sydney, Australia, where I was getting pretty mediocre speeds. I mean, 11 at one point download speed, megabits per second, and just 56 megabits per second upload speed. So please let me know if you're able to get better speeds, but I would say that FastestVPN definitely at some points was living up to its moniker, and at other points was, you know, middling at best. So now that we've gone through FastestVPN in terms of its speed test, let's go ahead and check out how it is performing when it comes to just the general mobile application. Now, you know, it has a nice little lightning bolt, a little Thor action there. If I want to go ahead and connect, it's pretty straightforward. Takes a second, a little slower on the uptake. But boom, now I'm connected to Hong Kong. You know, as we said, had some great speeds out of Hong Kong. And that's it. I mean, you know what's going on, gives you a little IP address. If you tap on that top one, you can look at various spaces: Luxembourg, Netherlands, Norway, Poland, Portugal, Romania. All of these things are available in lots of different US servers. So you really can kind of jump around. With FastestVPN, if you want to go into Norway, you kind of have to jump out and then jump back in. Which is not my favorite thing. I think if you basically click on a different location, it should pretty much just automatically move you instead of having to actually go and jump out and then jump back in. You can see also Norway here, and you've got that available for you. You can jump into basically any spot, anywhere. But once again, having to go and like do this whole thing where now I'm out, you can see here, and then jump back in. Not my favorite thing, if I'm completely honest about it. I've got a few favorite locations already built into this. Some Belgium, Germany, Switzerland. What are these nations called? Like the German speaking, not the Low Countries, but you get it. So anyway, overall, not a ton happening inside of the mobile application. They keep it pretty straightforward. FastestVPN, as we said, not the fastest. The mobile application definitely should be a little bit more intuitive in terms of allowing for you to go ahead and, you know, just jump from one location into another instead of having to actually jump out like physically and then jump back in. Again, not the most intuitive element. So they could definitely steal from some of the other VPN companies out in the market, but overall, decent, fine experience using FastestVPN. Now, FastestVPN boasts a lot. I mean, mainly I'm just saying that because of the name, but it does back it up. It's a pretty solid VPN, great for torrenting, pretty decent for speed considering the name. It's very affordable. I mean, if that were my main selling point, definitely be up there. But you know, even when it comes to the things I don't love about FastestVPN, I would say that none of them are that serious. Nothing that really gives me too much pause. So if you're looking for VPN, you know, maybe give FastestVPN a shot. All right, so that's our look at FastestVPN. If you appreciate today's video, give us a like, drop us a comment, subscribe to our channel. We'd always appreciate it here at Security.org, where we're trying to bring you the newest in digital and physical security to help you and your family feel just comfortable, just feel safe. So if that is what you're getting from us, go ahead and stay tuned to what we come out with week after week. Well, my name is Gabe. This little digital dungeon is Security.org. Be secure.